My name is Isabella. Started stretching for my health, and within 3 days, I triggered back pain. Now I'm a 38-year-old scared of aging. Huh? That's not aging. Just lack of exercise, you say? No way. Once you reach a certain age, it's easier to blame it on getting older. Like when you can't recognize trendy actors, or when all the popular models seem to have the same face. Today, I want to tell a story from when I didn't fear falling in heels, didn't notice the sagging skin above my knees, and proudly wore miniskirts. It's from about 10 years ago. Back then, I was in the third spring of marriage with my same-aged husband, William. He was kind and attentive, or so I wished. Things went smoothly, only during the honeymoon phase. After 3 years, he turned into a disappointing husband who never listened, but always obeyed his parents. Parents are important. I'm not saying to disregard them completely. I just wish he had the will to stand his ground when necessary. Especially my mother-in-law, Kayla. Right after our wedding, she persistently suggested it would be nice to live together once you're settled. When she said, "Wouldn't that be nice?" I couldn't just agree to something I didn't feel. But my in-laws assumed, "You must be happy to live with us, right?" The problem was my ineffective husband. He'd say living together would mean no freedom for us. But in front of his parents, he'd confusingly offer lip service like, maybe living with my parents isn't so bad. Of course, it's no surprise that my in-laws, unaware of my husband's duplicity, were overjoyed, saying, "Exactly." As a result, they kept dreaming that someday their sons would live with them and take great care of them. My husband can't even properly put away his socks. How could he care for his parents? That burden would undoubtedly fall on me. Just the thought gives me goosebumps. Ever since getting married, every visit to my in-laws has been unpleasant. Kayla, eager for us to live together, initially said, "You're newlyweds, so let's talk about it later." But as her wish for cohabitation remained unfulfilled, she started subtly pressuring us recently.
"Oh, my knees hurt so much lately. It's tough doing household chores. I sometimes wish for relief."
Or it's just you and Dad at home, right? Must be quiet. You two are young. I bet it's lively.
I wonder if I'm just aging into loneliness. But oh, it's fun when Isabella's around. Ouch, my back. What if I can't get up in the bathroom one day and just pass away?
She keeps repeating these things. Can you see the unnerving persistence in this? Even for elder jokes, her choice of words is more like a threat. Trying to ignore it doesn't help. The discomfort just grows, and her emphasis on her ailments feels like she's saying, "Come, live with us and do our chores."
In fact, when we visit, I end up doing all the chores.
I gave her some supplements, good for legs, and a DVD of the Hollywood movie she's into, to keep her quiet. Let father-in-law Owen watch it with her and find something to talk about. With Kayla, giving gifts seemed to smooth things over and even help dodge the living together topic. The problem was Owen. This might sound like an overreaction, but he's the type to ask for massages like, "My shoulders are stiff. Can you massage them?" Or even offer to give me one.
He's my father-in-law after all.
I don't even massage my own father at his age, let alone accept one. It's normal to feel uncomfortable. Yet no one in this household, not even my husband or Kayla, sees anything wrong with it.
She even said, "Oh, how nice family massages."
She's completely unapproachable on this topic, and my husband just turns a blind eye. I couldn't refuse during the early days of marriage, thinking, is this their normal? I got swayed and only massaged his shoulders, but I've firmly refused since then. However, my refusal wasn't the end of it. After my showers, Owen would accidentally open the door, claiming, "I thought no one was in here." I began to loathe Owen after the same thing happened during my second Thanksgiving visit, having first noticed it in the previous Christmas. It may sound trivial, but it's not normal for it to happen twice. I've told my husband I don't want to visit anymore, but it was in vain.
It was just a coincidence. He wouldn't think weirdly about his son's wife. We're family, right? Aren't you being a bit too self-conscious? Watching too many dramas, maybe? He dismissed it lightly.
So last year, I said I was unwell and sent him ahead. I joined them only after taking a shower at home and waiting until everyone was asleep. Owen seemed eager to say something, and Kayla even remarked, "You're so cold even though we're family."
Yeah, right. Say what you want. If massaging Owen's dirty back means losing my dignity, I'd rather be the coldest person ever.
With no one to rely on, I have to protect myself. All these experiences made me thoroughly disillusioned with my ineffective husband and in-laws. After all the dreadful experiences, as Thanksgiving approached, I decided to fulfill my childhood dream of opening a cafe. I used my savings to build a new house with a garden, planning a small cafe on the ground floor and a staff room storage on the second. I'll plant colorful flowers in the garden and set up terrace seating. It's near the sea with plenty of greenery, a place with the scent of the sea breeze. Then, the news of me buying a house somehow leaked to Kayla through my husband. Lately, Kayla had been calling my husband's mobile, pressing for cohabitation. He carelessly told her, she bought a house, so maybe we'll live together sooner than expected. Convinced we were finally moving in together, Kayla called me right after talking to my husband.
Hello, I heard Brit.
Heard what?
Oh, stop joking. You built a house, a new one with a garden. How wonderful of you to buy such a grand place for us.
What? Wait a minute, where did you hear that?
I heard from my son. My wife is building a house, and we might live together soon. Oh, was it supposed to be a surprise? I'm so happy.
Kayla sounded unusually cheerful.
No, I didn't buy it to live with you and Owen.
Oh, you're such a tease. Let's talk details later. I'm looking forward to it.
Click. Beep, beep. The call ended abruptly, leaving me with a hollow echo. She said her piece and hung up. That night, when my husband returned from work, I confronted him angrily.
What's this about? Why does my house suddenly involve living with Kayla?
Surprised, he replied, I didn't say we're living together, just that it might happen in the future.
That's misleading. What are we gonna do now?
Stop yelling. Just tell them we're not living together. Why are you so mad?
I'm mad because you're saying that won't make a difference. It's fine if my parents live with us. You might have an easier time with chores, right?
He yawned, casually dismissing the situation.
I always end up doing the chores when we visit. How can you say such a thing after seeing that situation?
Really? Well, whatever. Just look on the bright side. We've already told them the address, so we might as well live together. I'm starting to think it's okay. Saves the hassle of buying a house for cohabitation. And I don't lose anything.
I was speechless. People really can be left literally without words. If I went along with this, I'd lose my dream house to my in-laws. That's not just a loss. It's a disaster.
Wait, how do you know the address? I told you I bought a house, but I never mentioned the location.
If you bought it, it's mine too, right? Found the documents in the bedroom drawer. Just looked there.
I had locked that drawer. The key was hidden where I keep my underwear. How did he find out? He had the nerve to say he just looked after snooping through my things. I wanted to scold him for invading my privacy, but I had to admit my negligence. Still, for Owen and my husband to find such a hidden spot, they're truly like father and son. They lack any sense of delicacy towards women. Feeling self-loathing and a growing aversion to my in-laws and husband, despair struck me. Do I have to live with my in-laws? The next day, Kayla called again. I tried to pretend I wasn't home, but as soon as the call ended, she called back again, so I gave up. She was going to keep calling until I answered.
Hello?
Couldn't wait and called.
That line might be sweet from a beloved partner, but not from Kayla. Even from my husband, it'd be creepy. I replied listlessly.
Yeah?
We've decided to live together, so I've started the process of moving out of this house. Still lots to sort out, but we're ready.
Huh?
My voice came out lifelessly, a mix of huh and what. I was praying that all of this was just a dream. But Kayla cheerfully said, just letting you know, so tell your husband. What does she mean? Agreeing to live together without my consent? And already planning to move out? It's insane. Are their brains made of hamburgers?
Asano? It's me. I heard. We finally decided to live together.
It was Owen who took over the call. The last person I wanted to talk to, even over the phone. I stayed silent, but Owen kept talking.
Yep, we're a family of 4 now. Already packed our stuff to send over. Can you receive it at the new house next Wednesday?
What?
I was truly shocked. Sending their stuff already? That's beyond premature. But then, These are the same parents who, without any confirmation, assumed they could live with us and are planning to vacate their longtime home. Thinking rational conversation would work with such people was my mistake. If they want to leave their house so quickly, let them have it their way.
All right, I'll be waiting for the luggage.
A week later, on Wednesday afternoon, Kayla called my mobile.
Hello? Did our stuff arrive? I was worried and just had to call.
Yes, it did. I just sent my stuff to my parents' house today. Yes, it did. I just sent my stuff to my parents' house today.
What? To your parents' house? Why?
I sent my things to my parents' house. Just as it sounds.
Why? Did you send unnecessary items?
Of course not. Do you send unwanted things to your parents' house? How terrible.
No, stop being rude. I don't understand. Explain properly.
I don't need to keep my stuff in the current house anymore.
Why?
Because we're not living together. You do know the new house is still under construction, right?
What?
Kayla's voice rose sharply.
What do you mean?
Do you want the long story? It might take as long as the Mississippi River, you know.
Don't joke, just tell me.
Can't take a joke, can you?
Normally she doesn't listen to a word I say, but in situations like this she desperately tries to listen.
Fine, I'll give her the answer. The earliest moving date for that house is in 6 months. The construction period got extended because I was particular about the interior design.
What do you mean? My son said you're building a house.
That's why I said building present tense, not built. You make basic mistakes because you don't listen.
Before I could finish, Kayla yelled, "You deceived us."
How rude. They're the ones who misunderstood. If only Kayla had told my husband about sending their stuff, this could have been avoided. At least he knows the house is still under construction. That's what happens when you listen only to what you want and interpret it your way.
So, what are we supposed to do now? We're vacating this house in a month and a half.
They decided to move that quickly. Their obsession with living together is frightening.
Kayla, always slow with her aching feet and back, suddenly becomes energetic when it suits her.
I don't know. Why would you assume you can just live in a house someone else built?
But we're family. Don't say such awful things. It's sad.
Family? What are you talking about? Do you know where I am? I'm at the city hall with a divorce application.
What?
Did I do something wrong? He cried, but I convinced my husband after a week.
What do you mean?
I smiled smugly. Please, she asked. It's a pity this was over the phone. If Kayla were in front of me, I would have sneered right in her face. I obliged Kayla by recounting the events that led to the divorce. It started the night I told my husband about the in-laws sending their stuff to the new house. I broke the news over dinner as casually as asking for the sauce. Oh, by the way, let's get divorced.
He was shocked.
Why? Did I do something wrong?
His reaction was probably due to being too surprised to take it as a joke. If he seriously thought he had done anything wrong, he would be making an enemy of every wife out there.
What a terrible joke. You've done nothing but bad things.
Chen?
His clueless expression only deepened my disillusionment.
You brush off everything I say, snoop through my underwear drawer, and handle the living together situation carelessly. Do you really think you've done nothing wrong?
Yeah?
So common sense was left in Kayla's belly, never to be retrieved.
I'm relieved. Now I can divorce you without any regrets.
Wait, just a minute.
Enough. I've made up my mind. I can't stand you or your parents anymore. I'm getting a divorce no matter what.
For about 6 days, every night was a fierce argument about the divorce. I thought he would agree easily, but he hated being dumped. Every time I brought up divorce, we fought bitterly. The calmest day was when I almost forced him to sign the divorce papers. He once threw a remote at me, and I defended myself with his brand new laptop. The laptop seemed fine, but it started making strange noises when turned on. Angered by this, he later flipped a table, and I instinctively used his designer coat as a shield. After washing and leaving it overnight, it reeked of leftover ketchup and garlic. He hadn't noticed the stain, and I had no intention of sending it for cleaning. He's never taken anything to the cleaners, so I doubt he'd know how to wash it properly. A ketchup-stained coat. How fashionable. Perhaps shocked by damaging 2 important items, he stopped physically attacking me. Oh, he even lost his fighting spirit, seeming more and more uninterested in our arguments. He'd given up. After our graceless death match 2 days ago, he finally said, "Let's get divorced."
And I won both his signature and a victory in life.
If he hadn't decided on divorce before the luggage arrived, my plan would have been ruined. It was a close call, but I'm glad it all worked out in the end.
After hearing everything, Kayla immediately said, "Let's rethink this."
No, I've thought long and hard about this divorce. Why should I reconsider now? Continuing with this family is like staying aboard a sinking ship.
You must be tired. You won't find a good family like us easily. Please rethink it.
Huh? What part of your family is good? I've never thought of you as a good family.
What?
Both my husband and Kayla really believe their actions are for my benefit. Their naivety needs a limit.
A father-in-law who tries to get massages from his daughter-in-law. A mother-in-law who pushes all household chores onto me, and a husband who turns a blind eye. How is that a good family? Kayla, you always complain about your knees and feet to make me do chores, but you sprint to the TV when your favorite Hollywood star is on. You're perfectly healthy. I know you told your friend over the phone. Once we live with our son and his wife, we won't have to do anything. A daughter-in-law is like an automatic vacuum cleaner. At that, Kayla gasped.
I'm sorry, that was just a joke. Not what I really think. Like lip service to a friend.
I see, that just makes me despise you more. I don't need in-laws who treat their daughter-in-law like an appliance, just to entertain friends.
So,
Realizing I wouldn't forgive her, Kayla's voice broke into tears.
I'm sorry to interrupt your crying, but your belongings aren't inside the new house.
what?
Of course, the house is still being decorated. I can't put them inside.
Then where are they?
I left them in front of the new house, in someone's parking space.
What?
Leaving things in someone else's parking space, they could get stolen or damaged. Do something about it. What are you talking about? I just finalized my divorce, so I'm now a complete stranger to you. I have no obligation to help you.
You're the worst. I never thought I'd have such a daughter-in-law.
That's fine. I'm not your daughter-in-law anymore. Oh, it's forecasted to rain heavily from 16. It's already starting to drizzle. Better get your stuff before it gets soaked.
I couldn't help but laugh, imagining the drenched cardboard boxes and damp contents.
But there are appliances in there. You'll regret it.
Before Kayla could finish, I hung up the phone. With that, my divorce was finalized. I was truly free. 10 years have passed since then. After the divorce, my former in-laws and ex-husband, frustrated with me, stayed away for a while. But about 3 years later, my ex-husband unexpectedly visited the house that was supposed to be our new home. Turns out he was planning to remarry, but his fiancée was a con artist. She swindled everything from him and fled, leaving him drowning in debt and fired from his job for embezzlement. Then he had the audacity to ask for a reconciliation to support him through his troubles, bringing his parents along to beg. I was utterly disillusioned with my ex-husband and former in-laws. Naturally, I refused firmly with a couple of slaps, and they were presumptuous. I refused firmly with a couple of slaps, and they were persistent, so I had to consult the police. That worked. They haven't shown up since, crying their way out. As for me, I realized my dream and now run a cafe in that new home. I expanded the area that was meant to be the staff room storage, making it my home and workplace. I had bought the house anticipating a future divorce, ensuring both my dream and livelihood. It was the best decision. The locals are kind and I love living here. There's been a change in my personal life this year. I'm remarrying a man who runs a coffee wholesale business. When my ex-husband came to plead for reconciliation, my now fiancé, sensing the tense atmosphere, stood in front of me to protect me. After years of dealing with a non-supportive husband, a self-centered mother-in-law, and an uncontrollable father-in-law, I realized for the first time that there really are men who protect women. That moment made me fall for him, but since he was a business contact, I took my time to express my feelings. This year, we decided to remarry. Both of us have divorce histories. His was due to his wife's infidelity. Knowing each other's past struggles, we built a caring and considerate relationship. With a coffee in hand, smelling the sea breeze, we're enjoying peaceful days together. Ordinary life truly is happiness.